A lot of people are being paid with clout and not money. They're not even, they're getting monetized on it and don't even realize it. You have an NIL deal in real life, and you don't even say that your name, right? Say the one stuff, your name, your image, and your likeness is being used every day, and it's called black culture. Black people have a permanent NIL deal. Our names, our image, and our likeness is being used and monetized on every single day. And then we think we're not creative. We think we're not special. We think we're not gifted. We are the NIL deal. We set the trends. We set the trends. Black culture has a permanent NIL deal. Our names, our image, and our likeness is being used every single day. Look online. You see all the dances. Other cultures are doing what? Our dances. Everyone wants to be black until it's time to be black. Everyone wants to be black until it's time to be black. I ain't no black. That's what they said. You gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Oh my God. Today we're talking about the plantation mindset. A lot of people have a plantation's mindset, right? When you simply look at logic, I tell people all the time, if you're gonna go to work, do your job, take your money, and invest in yourself, therefore putting yourself into a better position. I notice that more people go to jobs looking for equal opportunities when they don't realize that they already have an opportunity by being employed. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, it matters what you do with the money. Let's just establish that. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, it matters with what you do with the money. A lot of people think that they're gonna get rich at a plantation, and the plantation is not designed to make you rich. A job is an acronym for just over broke. Just over broke. And that's what you will be. That's a job. It's by design, right? A job is just created to give you stability. But some people think that they're gonna birth their dreams from their job. No, your job's resources is supposed to be used to invest in your dreams, therefore elevating yourself by investing in your dreams. But a lot of people don't realize that your job is supposed to fund the vision and the dreams that you have. You're not supposed to spend your money to the point where you get stuck on the plantation. A lot of people are stuck on the plantation because their mentality is plantation-like. If you look at the field Negro and the house Negro, you see that at the plantation today. They said a supervisor is a title that they give you to make you forget about your dreams. A title is a title that they give you to make you forget about your dreams. A lot of people that get a title and then they forget about their own dreams, right? They start saying, I'm the boss. No, you aren't the boss. You're the worker for the boss. A supervisor is not a boss, right? You gotta say that again. A supervisor is not a boss. I don't know who told you that. A supervisor is not a boss. A manager is not a boss. They be like, I'm the boss. No, you're a manager. You're an extension to the job, but you're not the boss. And the boss likes supervisors and managers that believe that they're the boss. They love them because you are every bit of the house Negro. They love giving you titles to make you feel like you're the house Negro. And then what you do is you treat the field Negroes like they beneath you because of the fact that you're in the house. Or you believe you're in the house because you believe you're more than. But in reality, the job is created just to give you enough to keep you coming back. That's what a job is. For those who don't understand that this plantation mindset is the reason why a lot of people aren't elevating. Let's get out of this mindset that there is a culture division or dividing in finances. Listen, money is green, and at the end of the day, if you know how to make money, therefore anybody will rock with you. I don't care if you black, white, blue, yellow, or green. If you are in the same institutions as people that make the same amount of money, you will be ever better having access to what they have access to. Filet mignon in a white restaurant tastes the same as anywhere else once you put yourself in position. That's what we don't understand. We still fighting the wrong fight. But the real fight is not understanding what you should be doing with your resources. In order to educate, one must be open to being educated. That's really the education. The mentality is really why most people aren't successful. Let's just establish that. You cannot create a person to be successful if a person already believes they're not meant to be successful. You cannot elevate a man or a woman who is comfortable being at the bottom of the barrel. Some people are like chewed gum that's under the table in your cafeteria. They're done. They haven't even given themselves a fair shot. But you say, my job, you waiting for your job to give you you waiting a whole 12 months for your job to give you a 50-cent raise. You worried a whole 12 months for your job to give you a $1 raise. Some people have waited 2 to 3 years waiting for their job to give them a $1 raise. Meanwhile, inflation has gone up every day, but if you understand how to behave with your money, you don't have to worry about the plantation saving your life. You realize the plantation is designed to preserve your life. But it's what you do with the resources, right? The resources is how you elevate yourself. I'm gonna give you an analogy, guys, and I want you to hear this good. Imagine, right? Imagine going to a job, and every time you go to work, they pay you in beans. They pay you in seeds. Your job is to take your beans and your seeds back to your plantation and plant your beans and seeds so therefore you can start harvesting your own food. But the problem is we don't do that. If the job pays us in food, right? You know, we do. We keep eating all the food and never planting any food for ourselves. So therefore we have to keep what? Going back to get food. And that's how the plantation mindset is. When you get stuck with this mentality, you'll never be able to elevate, right? See, this is the issue, right? So, hold on a second. See, even when you look at slave times, right? There are people who would tell if someone wanted to run away from the plantation to get to freedom. Some people have been conditioned to be slaves so long that they believe that if they start operating away from the plantation mindset, they're gonna tell master that you are operating away from the slave mindset, right? A slave can be anything, white, black, blue, green. Let's just establish that. When people don't understand that America has your elites and your wealthy, but we always put everyone in a box. This is cat. Everyone is not rich. Everyone is not gonna be successful. It's not by design. More people will be in poverty than not because already you have a poverty mentality. When you have no family, right? No family, you already have no wealth building. Once there's no family, there's no wealth building. It's hard to build wealth without family. It's hard to build wealth without structure. It's hard to build wealth without teamwork. But again, this is our mentality as a culture where we believe that I'm gonna elevate by myself. And no man or no woman is an island, but yet and still you believe that you're gonna be the exception to the rule by being an island. We have a plantation mindset, right? We worried about, long as I got mines, you gotta worry about getting yours, rather than sharing ours so therefore we can elevate and grow. Our culture is in a space right now where mentally we're like in an infant stage of finance. Let me say that again. Our culture is so bad right now, we're at an infant stage of finance, right? We don't have the mentality of understanding what we should be doing to elevate ourselves, but yet and still we're arguing with others. You have to identify that everyone is not meant to be the same. Everyone is not gonna agree with me on my podcast and say, oh, he's talking the truth. You know what some people are gonna say? He's wrong. And it's okay that I'm wrong because they're not meant to go along for the ride. You have to identify and establish who's you and who's not you. Who's for the cause and who's actually the reason that we're failing. It could be friends and family, it doesn't matter. You cannot make someone something they're not. More people will spend energy on trying to save people who aren't trying to save themselves. That's the number one issue. They say, before you try to save others on a plane, what they say, put on your mask first, right? Your oxygen, make sure you good before you trying to help others. But a lot of people have this mentality where they want to help people that they tend to care for. When you're elevated, you got to realize that the person that wants to get left behind is the person that wants to get left behind. Because I'm going to tell you something. There's no way I'm going to let you swim to the shore and I'm in the middle of the ocean with you and I'm not working hard to get to the shore with you. That is diabolical. But again, it's a mentality. The plantation mindset is get my little money, waste my little money, then cry about the little money I have. That's the mentality. Get my little money, waste my little money, and then cry about not having money. And then you repeat this cycle, conditioning yourself to believe that something is going to fall from the sky. There will be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Your mother and father got to be first cousins to even think like that. That is diabolical. You got to be diabolical to believe that something is going to fly from thin air. When you see a person that plants his seeds and nurture his garden, eventually he eats from the garden, but yet and still you believe you don't have to do anything and you're going to eat from a garden that you've never planted. Listen to that mentality. I had a guy the other day tell me he can't. I hate this word. And I want anybody on my live right now to understand this word. I heard the word tryna. I hate when people say tryna. Don't try, do. When you say that if you tell me right now you're doing and you're still saying trying, you're giving yourself discredit because you're not committing yourself to the belief that you can be great. Watch the narrative. Dre, if I say right now, I'm gonna meet you somewhere, I'm gonna try to meet you somewhere, that means I might not show up. It's 50-50. So if I say I'm gonna try to meet you somewhere, that means I didn't give confirmation that I'm gonna be there. So therefore you don't know. So when you say those same close-ended sentences by saying, I'm gonna try to meet you somewhere, I'm gonna try to be rich, I'm gonna try to get there, I'm gonna try to be successful, you giving yourself an open-ended sentence and you're telling yourself that it's an excuse for yourself to fail. Of course you're not gonna make it to the end zone. Because you told yourself that you cannot. So you will not. One thing about life, you have to believe in yourself before anybody else can believe in you. The more you can't believe in you, it is harder for someone to believe in someone that don't even believe in themselves. It is hard to believe in someone who don't even believe in themselves. I can't sit there and believe in someone who's not even believing in himself. You second guessing everything about your side. I can lose a game if I know you played your heart out, but yet and still we left it on the field or the court. But it's hard to lose when you know for a fact that you got more energy in your tank. When you know you got more in you and you tend to do less, that is diabolical that you're not giving yourself the confirmation that you need to believe that you can become great. It is a plantation mindset. It is a plantation mindset. We got to get off this plantation because you the supervisor, you make $1.25 more than everybody and you walk around like the slushiest thing on the goddamn plantation. You think you God's gift to earth and you could be fired. You mess up one time, they'll fire you just like they fire anybody else. But y'all not working together to try to build yourselves off that plantation. I got a question for you. How come 5 people can get together to go do something dumb, but we can't get together 5 people to go do something illegal and build something? How come we can bring 5 people together to do something dumb, but we can't bring 5 people together to do something and invest? The other day, a guy told me he been friends with people since the sandbox. And I said it's sad because you done grew up the sandbox and neither one of y'all put y'all resources together to do anything to help each other out. That ain't no friendship. That's a struggle ship. That ain't no friendship. That's a struggle ship. Come on. That is diabolical. Let me say that again. You tell me that you have a friend that you've been friends forever with and y'all still haven't helped each other get out of your bad situation. That is not a friendship. That is a struggle ship. That is trauma bonding. That is something that is not allowing y'all to elevate. Y'all are living like children because the reality, if y'all are grown, is about what you building. Nobody want to hear about what you could have did. Nobody want to hear about what you should have did. Only thing we want to hear about is what you're doing. I told my homeboy the other day, he gonna tell me and my girl been together for 20 years. I said, I can tell. He said, why? I said, because y'all both losing. He looked at me like I was crazy. I said, I know how to fight. I know how to fight. And if I'm your friend and you don't want to hear the truth, that means we shouldn't be friends. There is no way in hell my friend should be in a relationship for 20 years and him and his wife in the same goddamn positioning from the day I met her. That is not a relationship. That is a struggle ship. You're struggling. You know why you're struggling? Because you bonded with your trauma. And you cannot build something that's not buildable. How are you building on sand? Y'all building on sand. And you wonder why y'all keep sinking. The whole concept of anything is the foundation that you're building on. Before you do anything and buy any land, the first thing you do, you survey the land and make sure that it's buildable, it's solid. Because if you're building on sand, your situation is going to sink. And this is the reality. We ain't building nothing no more. We building struggle ships. Struggle ships is what we building. Come on. Right? We make an excuse for why we haven't built anything. We talk about what we want to do, and we think that just by talking about it is going to manifestate. I hate whoever created that term and made people believe this foolishness. There are people who believe they're going to manifestate doing nothing. Yo, listen to that statement. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Imagine sitting with someone who's not doing absolutely nothing, but believe that they're going to have a lot of something. Boy, if you ain't the most narcissistic, and sister, you ain't the most narcissistic person there is on earth, I don't know what that is, because you have a level of entitlement that don't even make sense. You believe that you're going to skip the line when people been working hard and waiting on that line to be successful, and you're going to skip the line and you haven't even put in no goddamn work. You missed the gym, but you believe you're going to have the best body, right? You're not financially mature, but you believe you're going to be the richest. Right? You're going to have the best job, but you didn't even get the goddamn credentials. You are diabolical. You don't even take care of your home. But you want a bigger home. That is diabolical. What are we saying here? This is the plantation mindset. It's a mindset of people who believe that the job owes them something. When you realize that your job is designed just for you to get yourself together and stabilize yourself and allow yourself to continue to build from it, that's it. Your job is supposed to be funding your dreams. Your job is supposed to be funding your dreams. But a lot of people aren't funding their dreams because guess what? Their job is funding them, and guess what? The job is controlling you. You believe in the job more than you believe in your damn self. Right? You know how to behave when your boss walk in the room, but you don't know how to behave when he ain't in the room. The whole concept of a life is being able to code switch. A lot of people don't even understand what code switching is. We still say that people are sellouts when people don't understand that they didn't sell out, they sell in. Let me say that again. You did not sell out, you sell in. What I mean by selling out is when you forget who you are. But when you realize that you want to get into different rooms, you have to behave a different way. Otherwise, you won't get into the new rooms. So when a person tells you that you're selling out, no, you're selling in. And when you talk with an articulate level, that doesn't mean you talk white. That means your vernacular has matured to the point where you're able to speak at a high volume of education. So let me say that again. Because some people are a little diabolical. If you talk proper English, you're talking white. I don't know who created that garbage. Because I done traveled the world. And I go down south, I hear, what's that boy doing up that road there, sir? That ain't no goddamn educated speaking. And that don't mean he's black or white. That means that's the person. Education, it could be any color. Right? That's just reality. So when you look at the logic, when a black man or a black woman speaks with proper grammar, that doesn't mean that they sold out. Let's establish that. Anybody that say this is diabolical and they're weird. Because sometimes I think we get intimidated. We got that classroom theory. When the person raised their hand in the classroom, you get jealous because you don't know the answer. And the fact that they know the answer, you jealous of them. So therefore, guess what? This person has understood and they got their assignment right. Because life is about educating yourself to the point where you're able to speak of a certain level. So therefore, you can get into the rooms. You can get into the levels. Right? I don't care what nobody think about me anymore. It took me a long time to build this level of comfort. A lot of times I used to come on my podcast and I used to say I'm going to dumb it down because I felt like people would get mad. But I'm going to be honest with you. Why do I care? Because I'm not entertaining those who doesn't even meet the criteria. I want to go into the rooms that make me comfortable. So if y'all coming into this room with me, guess what? That means y'all comfortable. So let me give you a round of applause.
Speaking about the plantation mindset, I don't like the Uncle Tom thing. I mean, you do have some people who can be Uncle Toms, but like you said, it's about code switching. If you want to get to certain levels in certain rooms, you have to be able to speak with all cultures and come together with all cultures, white, black, purple, green. So just because somebody is in another room that you probably can't get in, it doesn't mean that they're Uncle Tom. So how you feel about that, Uncle Tom?
I think people, a lot of black people have a rebellious spirit. They're very rebellious. They feel like they can do whatever they want a lot of times, whenever they want and however they want. But when you understand, when you get the assignment, meaning the job that you're applied for, I doubt that you signed up at that job and said, I'm going to be diabolical at this job. I think when you sat in that interview, you said you were going to be on time, You was courteous. You was very steward. You was right. You was very professional. So my logic is why you can't keep that level of professionalism when you interviewing at a job. Why you can't do that every time you go through life. So realistically, the Uncle Tom theory to me is when people overly compensate. But when you're sitting in a room, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. If I sat with Michael, no, I'm not gonna use Michael Jordan. Let me give me somebody more rich. Elon. I'm gonna use a white guy. I'm Elon Musk. If I sat with Elon Musk and he said a corny joke and the joke wasn't funny to me, I'm gonna laugh at it. And the reason why I'm laughing at it is because I'm trying to build a business rapport. I don't care if his jokes is corny or not, because I'm gonna tell you something. When you look at life, right, if you already tell yourself, I ain't selling out to no, you ain't selling out to nothing. You're trying to meet the requirements to get to the next space with this person, right? It's just what it is. So if a person don't think like that, they already lost. They already lost. Because when you say that, oh, I'm not selling out to no, that's why you're still in the same position you in. You feel like you're gonna be able to control the narrative when you haven't even started building the narrative. You can control the narrative when you become the narrative. If you're the plantation driver, I understand why you can do whatever you want, right? If you're in a professional setting, you have to dress a certain way. It's just what it is, right? So I wanna go into this. People are like, I'm independent. I work for myself, brother. A lot of people that work for themselves, and I'm gonna say this on record, they need to go get a goddamn job. Listen to what I'm telling you. A lot of people who are self-employed, they need to go get a goddamn job. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because you don't have medical insurance, you're not paying into Social Security, you're not paying proper taxes. So therefore, when you get older, you're gonna struggle, and I feel bad for you because of the fact that you did not buy into a system. You have no 401k, you have no goddamn IRA, you have no goddamn pension. So when a person sits there and be like, I work for myself, we can tell. And when you're 65 years old, it's gonna look diabolical because a lot of times you're getting that money up front. But guess what? You're definitely wasting that money. There are a lot of people who brag about working for themselves who do not do anything with their resources for their future self. At least some of the people that work at plantations, their jobs are adamant about making sure that you put into your 401k, your pension, and your retirement, so therefore you have something when you're older. So a lot of times these people are like, I'm not working nowhere. I'm like, yeah, you have that rebellious spirit, but keep that same energy when you can't work no more when you're 60, 70 years old and you're trying to figure it out. Because it's bad that I got to walk into Target and your grandmother's agreed to, not because of choice, she has to do it. That's how she's gonna do to the day she die. And the sad part is we repeating that same cycle. Because when we got our resources, we didn't do anything with our resources to elevate us past that situation. We got to get comfortable. It's funny when people laugh at people that work at jobs, meanwhile they don't even have great opportunities. I laugh at people we don't laugh at the people that's employed, we laugh at the people that don't want to be employed. I know people who won't work. Like, I'm gonna go into this, and some of you gonna get mad. I don't care. Listen, I find it hilarious that people will say that people come to this country and take jobs from Americans. But the fact of the matter is a lot of Americans don't wanna work the jobs that these people are willing to do. Because you know why? The one thing about foreigners, they don't mind an entry-level positioning to start from the bottom. They don't mind. So if the first job is sweeping up around the building, they will do it. And ultimately learn the positioning and then start their own company. Because they're willing to learn. And this is why a lot of their businesses are successful, because they learned the ground up level of how to run the business. And this is what I respect. A lot of people have this mentality where it's like, I'm not gonna do this, it's beneath me. How is it beneath you? You broke as hell talking about something that's beneath you. You sound crazy as hell. I don't know who hasn't told y'all the truth, but being broke is a choice. And the reason why it's a choice, because you can go do anything as long as it's willing to give you something, because something is better than nothing. And a lot of y'all don't want to have something because y'all don't want to do nothing. That's diabolical, guys. I don't know who created this new mentality where you worried about, you'll see somebody working at McDonald's and do a video of them working at McDonald's and laugh about it. I never in my life thought it was hilarious to watch somebody hustle. I respect it. I don't understand who created this mentality. You laughing at somebody for working. I saw a video this morning, and I'm gonna bring it up, right? The guy walked into the Walmart. The lady was folding shirts. He walks up to her trying to go, I guess he's trying to go viral because we like these garbage dumb videos. He literally walks up to her and act like he's doing like a voodoo. And then he tried to blow something on her. And then she got scared. But I'm like, yo, you go to somebody's employment to play with them like that because you're looking for clickbait and views, and we find that to be funny and we like and comment on those videos, those are the videos you freaking report. That lady at work, she's trying to make an honest living, and this is what we do when we're playing on this. That's sick as hell. I don't find that humorous at all. I don't find it not even this much funny. I think it's corny. Because he said to her, you have 24 hours to live. He told this old woman, he said, you have 24 hours to live, and blew something on her. If that was my mother, he'd have 24 hours for me to meet him outside the store and beat his behind. I would have dogged him. Come on, bro. When it has to become cute to play with adults and elderly people? When did it get cute? Those are the people you honor and give the most integrity to, the most respect. Those are the people that's giving us the rights to be able to do what we're doing, the movers and shakers. Our ancestors of yesterday is the reason why we can even move around the way we can today. Without our ancestors of yesterday, there is no today. It's no respect. I don't know what changed. Because we look at economics, who got more followers on the gram? I don't give a damn if you got 1,000, because I met more people with tons of followers who are broke as hell. And I know people who ain't even got 30 followers who are rich as hell. I know people on social media, and I can call names, who are broke as hell, right? And they got millions of followers, and I know people who don't have no followers, and they're rich as hell. And they don't give a damn about a like or a comment. It's your mentality. I think the plantation mindset is that we're stuck in social media's algorithm, that we can't see that the algorithm is controlling the way we think. We're so captivated by what social media is force feeding us that we're not seeing, that we're not undigesting the garbage that we're taking in. Because if you keep taking in foolishness, your mind is going to regurgitate foolishness. If your mind is listening to dumb stuff all day, your mind is going to regurgitate dumb stuff. Because again, a hater can be created. Social media can make you jealous. If you overly having access makes you lose the compassion for yourself, because you start looking at others and you start looking at yourself as a failure, but in reality, people are better at pretending to be in positioning that they're not. It's a comparison is the thief of joy. They say comparison is the thief of joy. A lot of us don't feel fulfilled because we're watching others' lives. Sometimes you got to clean your windows and stop looking in other people's windows. Your life is not going anywhere because of the fact that you're watching where others are going. You're the type of person that's walking, staring at somebody else and fall. You're worried about everybody else but yourself. There are too many people right now in this world that spend so much time worrying about other people that they haven't fixed themselves. That's the fat person laughing about the person that just went in the gym that's fat. The fat person is sitting in the parking lot of the gym laughing at the fat person who decided to go do something about their fat self. And that's cool. I respect the fat person that walked into the gym to go do something about themselves rather than the fat person who sit outside laughing. This is what we're doing, guys. This is a mentality. I'm in a situation right now in my mind where I'm looking at people like, yo, the world is so delusional. Do people say that right now the average black man in America, about 8 to 10% make over $100,000? I think it's 6 to 8%. 6 to 8%. Look at these numbers. I think it's 6 to 8% of black people make over $100,000. But if you look on social media, it says 6%. 6% of black people make $100,000. But everybody online look like Tyler. Everybody look like a millionaire. But they ain't gonna show you their living situation, because they living like $1 in. That's the truth. They're not gonna show you their living situation. But you know what they're gonna show you? They're gonna show you their social media situation. Because social media is a highlight reel for your greatest moments, and yet and still your life is beyond great moments. If a person, you got to see the people that you idolize and more and big up and say that they're so successful, if you got to watch their life for a day, you'll realize that their life is more boring than you think it is. They capture pictures that make you think they're having great moments every day. Because the whole thing about social media is retention. If you know what social media and any platform is all about, is retention. Retention meaning, how long can I grab your attention? How long can I hold your attention? This is why they pay content creators. Because our job is to create situations that grab your attention. I'm trying to grab your attention for something productive so that therefore you're not involving yourself into foolishness. We need more positive content. We need people talking about something more productive. I realize that more people act their shoe size than they age today. I'm nervous with this whole plantation mindset. Where's our next chapters and where we going as a culture?
Would you say on your road to success and millions, like millionaires and billionaires, it's boring, right? It's not, life is not a movie every single day. It's boring on the road to success. You have to be disciplined. You're gonna have boring days. You're gonna have long nights. Do you agree with that? Is it easy? How do you feel like the road of success is?
If you look at, you work out. So if you look at, in most cases, the meals that are the healthiest is boring. As the same way in life of achieving success. You have to be willing to do what's boring, but make it a habit of discipline in order to get to those levels. I realized that along my journey of achieving anything, I had to stop watching other people and start overly watching myself. I spent a lot of my time watching people's windows and thinking that I was gonna miss something. Because the phobia is the fear of missing out. A lot of people have a mentality where they fear they're gonna miss out. Once you get past that mentality and realize that you're not missing out to nothing, then you'll start seeing that you're on your journey. Because initially, the compounding of success starts with 1. Before you can get to 1,000, you gotta do that same routine 999 more times. But a lot of times, along your journey to the 1,000th time, you have to celebrate yourself on each milestone. So if I get to 25, I gotta cheer for myself. Then when I get to 50, I gotta cheer for myself. Then when I get to 100, I gotta cheer for myself. I realize that on the journey, you have to learn how to celebrate your small victories. I realize a lot of people don't celebrate their small victories because they're only looking at the end game. If you're running a marathon and it's 20 miles, when you get to mile 5, you should be proud of yourself because you're a quarter of the way done. Then when you get to mile 10, you should be proud of yourself because you're halfway there. Then when you get to mile 75, you're 3/4 of the way, you're a quarter away from it, from the success. You're 3/4 in. And then when you get to the end, you should be able to celebrate even more. But along your journey, you will meet every type of emotion there is along your journey. Success don't come without no struggles. Success don't come without wanting to quit. I have never met a married couple who's been in a relationship married for a long tenure and didn't tell me that they wanted a divorce at a time. Let me say that again. I have never met a married couple who never told me at some point they never contemplated divorce and they've been together for a long time. But what it was is the strength they had to persevere through those tough moments, it got them to them 40 years. The strength they got through them arguments, they were able to get to them 50 years. And that's the reality. Anything that's successful comes with complication. Anything that is easy never tends to have value. But we look at the things that are valueless and we try to put value on it because we don't want to do the work for the things that are valuable. Y'all ain't hear that. Did you hear that? We put a price tag on things that are valueless, right? Because we don't want to do the work to get the things that are valuable. So we place a price tag on the things that are valueless because we don't want to do the work for the things that are valuable. And that's our mentality. And the sad part is, anytime you go against the system, right, people don't understand. Stop fighting the system and make the system work for you. There are people who bought into the system and understand how to make the system work for them. You're rebelling against a system that is against everybody. If anyone don't follow the laws of the system, they're not gonna win. You'll meet any color drug dealer in prison. You will. If you don't follow the rules of the land, there will be consequences. If you meet the criteria, right? If I got 5 people right now, right, that make 50,000, 50-50 is what? Let's go first. 50 and 50, another 50, another 50, and another 50. That's $250,000 with 5 people making $50,000. Therefore, I can go buy whatever the hell I want with $250,000 income. But a lot of people don't look at things like that. And then when you buy that, you know what you do? You go do it again, and again, and again, and again. But the problem is, who's willing to sacrifice 10 years? A lot of times when people see your successful moments, you know what they don't see? They don't see those 13 years of killing yourself. They don't see the pain. They don't see the struggle. You want to read the end of the book, but you don't want to go through the totality of the book. You want the best novel of your life, but you don't want to go through every single chapter. I tell every successful person, don't tell me nothing about your ending. Tell me where you started. Tell me the discipline. Show me where you started at. Because I know what it takes to get there. And the ending is only gonna make me cheer for you, but yet and still I don't wanna cheer. I wanna know your struggles. Because struggle is what creates character, and a lot of people are avoiding struggle because they have a weak character. Your character is flawed. We look for anything and everything other than what we should be looking for. The only thing that any human in this world should be looking for today, you know what they should be looking for? The best version of their goddamn self. And let me say that again, the best version of your goddamn self. Nobody in life can want more for you than you're willing to want for yourself. Nobody should ever challenge you more than you're willing to challenge yourself. No one should ever contradict you believing in your vision and your dreams. There are people that talk you out your spot because they have a plantation mindset. You go to a plantation, you tell your colleague, I want to be rich. They don't see themselves being rich. So guess what they're going to say? It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen for your behind. But I'm going to leave you here because I'm going to do everything it takes to get to the next level. I'm going to open that goddamn book and read. I'm going to study. I'm going to apply the information. I'm going to be willing to get online and listen to people that talk life into me and not death. This is the issue. We speak negative over dreams, visions, goals. Because some people, they've lost their purpose. They lost their drive. They lost their motivation. And they try to suck the joy out of you. It's a mentality. It's a mentality. Success is a mentality. It's sitting there every day strategizing on how you're going to get to the next level. You'll never beat no board in life until you learn there's rules on how to beat the board. Every video game is about the formula on how to beat it, right? Every video game. And if you look at life like a video game, you'll see that it's a formula to beating life. And if you cannot apply the formula and you put a date, see, you can't timestamp your life. You can't timestamp your life. Because a lot of times we can't prepare for the unexpected, we just have to prepare for it. No one can tell you at this particular moment, this is gonna happen. No one realized they need a spare tire until they get a flat, right? If you just bought brand new tires, you ain't thinking about no spare tire. I ain't never seen nobody go to the tire shop and buy 5 brand new tires. They buy 4. I've never seen no one say, hey, I want 5 tires. You ever see somebody do that? I've never seen nobody go to the tire shop and buy 5 tires. And the most important tire in that car is the spare, right? But a lot of times we get so caught up in our own that we can't see logic. I tell everybody, when you start putting people around you who are achieving, who wants to be successful, who are goal-driven, who are consistent, who are disciplined, you'll start applying yourself to that. Humans are naturally competitive creatures. But I think the competition has become who can pretend to be the most successful. I think the competition has become who can pretend to be the most successful. The other day I told a guy, I don't even show my success. He said, why? I said, because I want people to think I'm broke. I'm poor as hell. I don't care what somebody think about me because I'm comfortable with who I am. I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not when I already know who I am. When you know who you are, you don't have to be someone you're not for somebody else. When you know who you are, all you have to do is get up and be yourself. I stopped trying to be others because I realized that everyone else is taken. So I learned how to be myself. And when you're comfortable being yourself, the people that are uncomfortable being themselves don't like you for wanting to be yourself. If you're hating me for wanting to be myself, you're diabolical. Listen to that narrative. You're mad at me for being me when you don't have to be around me. You don't have to be around me. Because I'm going to tell you something. To the end of time, I'm going to always be me. I'm gonna always be me, right? It's a misguided culture. We can't figure out where we're going because we're too constantly talking about where we've been. There are some people that talk about where they've been so long they forget to where they want to go. Remember them stories? Yo, remember we used to do this and remember we used to do that? How about we remember that fact that we still haven't gotten successful together? How about we remember that fact? You know when you get around people and they always want to talk about what they used to do? And you look at them like, damn, okay, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, but how about we do something now? What about now? You want to talk about when we was kids, we ate peanut butters and jelly. How about the fact that we should be able to bust our behind together and get steak and filet mignon? How about that? How about that? Let's change the narrative. Same old stories. We in the club doing the same old two-step. A lot of us in the club doing the same old two-step. Going around talking about, y'all had an old head the other day, and I'm gonna tell you the scariest thing. Dude I know I grew up with, he's like 40-something years old now. He said, so-and-so said he don't rock with you. And you know what I said? So-and-so rides a goddamn bike as a grown man and it's not for health purposes. You think I give a damn about what so-and-so got to say about me? Listen to that again, Dre. You told me that so-and-so don't like me, but so-and-so rides a goddamn bike and so-and-so live in his grandmother's Section 8 apartment, and you think I give a damn about what so-and-so think about me? I got higher standards than that. You think I care about because he was popular when we was in high school? You're a grown, rusty man, because if I took that same person and we had to do most popular and do the yearbook over, a lot of people won't get the awards they deserve now. Let me say that again. If I go take everybody back to their class and they literally do the yearbook over, a lot of them won't get the class awards that they got before. A lot of people have become the class clown. Damn. That'd be the class goddamn clown. Right? This is the reality. If we did the yearbook over today, a lot of people will not get the same awards that they got when they was in school. You know the scary part is? I was very popular in school. I'm gonna get even more awards now than when I was younger. A lot of times it's because I don't live in my past. I accepted my flaws. I accepted the things that aren't good about myself. The best thing about me is I put people around me that are better at what I'm not good at, because it only strengthens what I'm not good at. The plantation mindset to have you inferior to people that you can learn from. The plantation mindset to have you fighting against anyone and everyone that goes against what you believe and you think. The plantation mindset is the one who is programmed to believe that they're gonna get something from that plantation that they're not warranted other than a goddamn check. You believe that you're gonna get something from this goddamn plantation more than what you deserve. You did a 40-hour shift and guess what they gave you? A 40-hour check. That's it. But learning that after your 9 to 5, your 5 and on starts your future. If you're not willing to do no work after your job, then your job ain't gonna do no more work than what you're willing to do for it. Because you're so caught up in the job mentality that you can't see that you can change your life by economically putting yourself in position by being financially responsible with the resources that you're receiving from the plantation. No one told you you gotta drive a Benz because you're a nurse. I think that is the most, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Jesus Christ. Somebody gonna get mad. Somebody gonna get mad. Someone is gonna get mad. But guess what? I think the scariest place to go to is a hospital. You ever been in a hospital parking lot? You see every luxury vehicle there is. And the sad part is, most of the people that work in the hospital, they got student loan debt. Before you get rid of your debt, you're jumping in a foreign vehicle. I think they need to go to the hospital and teach a lot of financial literacy. I see a lot of people traveling. I see a lot of successful cars, but I don't see a lot of wealth building. I don't see a lot of wealth building. A lot of people want to look like they're successful. I go to the hospital and some of them nurses look like they at the club. I see BBLs. I see BBLs. Listen, somebody gonna get mad. I don't give a damn. because I'm entitled to speak what I see, right? But again, I keep it real. And I don't really try to say things that hurt people's feelings, but if the shoe fits, we gotta start wearing it. Our culture has a plantation mindset. And there's nothing wrong with going to a plantation to get the resources. But I'm gonna tell you what's scary, is when you work at a plantation and you, let's just say, I'm gonna just think logical. I want y'all to be on my live, answer this question. Stay with me, being honest. Be fair and honest. If you go to a job and the white man owns the job, who do you think he's more inclined to hire as the president? I want you to answer that on the mic. I want you to answer that. If there's a white man, why is that?
Because he's white.
I'm asking y'all on my live. If you go to if you go to a plantation, which is a job, and you see a white man owns the job, he's the CEO, who is he more inclined to hire as the president? I'm just listening to what y'all gotta say. Somebody said white? His own?
Well, somebody in his tax bracket, definitely not
Somebody said a white guy.
a worker.
But just stay with me. When you look at black culture, we get upset for them financially putting themselves in positioning, but we don't realize that we can create our own institutions, therefore elevating our culture. I'm in New York. There's a hospital called LIJ. I want you to answer what that means. What is LIJ?
Long Island Jewish.
You're Long Island Jewish. Yeah, right? Why you can't do Long Island Black American? Why we can't do that? See, we sit back and we watch what other cultures do and we complain about them. But we don't sit back and say that, yo, we can do our own thing. I don't get caught up in what other people doing. And I don't knock them for doing, I get inspired. So if you see me here giving Jewish people their flowers, I don't give a damn if you get mad, I'm proud of them. Listen, we could do it too. And you know what you're gonna say? The odds are stacked against us. Yeah, because of people like you. You the Negroes I'm talking about. Y'all the reason why we failing. Because the Negro mindset is, if we're not working together, common sense says that united you shall fall, right? Divided you shall, united you shall win, divided you shall fall. Let me say that again. The Negro mindset should be united we win, divided we fall. But the fact of the matter is, you know this by common sense, but we still can't apply it. We don't support nothing that's gonna elevate us. We support everything that takes away from us. We love to give our resources away and complaining about the people that have our resources. That is diabolical. The plantation mindset. Post-traumatic slave disorder is facts. But the reality of all things is I don't believe in someone controlling my destiny. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. I want everybody to hear this from me. And I want everybody to just, yes, if you believe. Everybody in my life right now, if you believe in a God, right, yes. If you believe in God, right, yes. Right, yes. Right, yes. Okay, I see 1, I see 2. Right? I see 3, I see 4. I see 5, I see 6. I see 7. Right? 8, 9, 10. So look what I'm gonna, I want y'all to listen to this, guys. If you say you believe in God, how the hell do you believe the white man can stop you when you believe in God? It sounds crazy to me. It combats logic. 1 minute God controls all, and the next minute the white man controls all. Make up your goddamn mind. Make up your mind. Because ain't no white man bigger than my God. Ain't no person bigger than my God. My God speaks in abundance. But I know I'm gonna have to do the work for him to bless me. I know I'm gonna have to wait my turn. I know I'm gonna have to be disciplined. So therefore, nobody can stop me. Because when it's bigger than you, God will make it big enough for you. So when I hear people talk about, oh, this person, that, I don't want to hear that. So how do you say you believe in God, but then you combat God? You say he's the powerful, the almighty, the one. But then you tell me that he's not the one by giving someone else praise, by saying that this person can stop me when they can't even stop him? You gotta be kidding me. The Bible says that God will make your enemies your footstool. Say they'll make your enemies your footstool. Anybody that has done wrong by me, you hear this? They have fallen beneath me. Do you hear it? I'm gonna say that. I want y'all to hear this good. And this is facts. Any person that has done anything wrong to me, I did not take revenge. The Bible said, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. He says vengeance is his. I sat back and allowed God to happen to them, and guess what? Look at their lives. Because I allow him to handle it and to do it on his time and his will. When I said, Lord, your will be done, your will be done. I tell people all the time, the reason why my vision is getting bigger, because I made it bigger than me. So God is making it big enough for me. He's making it big enough for me. He's gonna reach platforms in a multitude because I realize it is bigger than me. When you realize that the world is bigger than you and you make it big, he'll make it big enough for you. A lot of people say that we believe, we're loyal, we're faithful, but we're not faithful because we question everything that we shouldn't be questioning. Who am I, right, to want to take from someone else's pot? Who am I to believe that I'm better than someone? Well, we got to get comfortable with hearing the truth, right? A lot of times we got this mentality where we're not comfortable with hearing truth. I'm not offended by logic anymore. I'm not offended by logic. If you could make something make sense, we could make a goddamn dollar. I want you to hear that again. My logic is so strong that if you could make something make sense, we could make a goddamn dollar. Because we're going to make it whole. As long as it makes sense. I hope you hear this, Tyler. If you can come to me with something that makes sense, we could make a goddamn dollar. We could make it whole. And that's where I'm at today. Someone call in right now, 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. We're talking about the plantation mindset. If someone want to call in and talk about it, let's talk about it right now. 516-253-1150. This plantation mindset is diabolical. I don't mind. I go to my job, do what I have to do, and invest in myself, just like the job do. You can't personalize it when somebody passed away and they move on. They need somebody to feel it. That's how a plantation works, right? It's not personable. So why are you making it personal? Just do what you got to do, get your resources and go. Because your boss will never pay you enough to live next door to him. Let me say that again. Your boss will never pay you enough to live next door to him. And I'm just talking logic. When we had these conversations, I tend to believe, someone call in right now, 516, somebody put it up, 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. I want to hear somebody's voice today, before we get out of here today. I genuinely believe we got to work on this mentality because I believe that the mentality is what determines any level of success. When a person is successful, it's because of their mentality. Because I've seen roses grow through concrete. I've seen people who have every time I meet somebody that really is successful, they got a long journey to get in there. We're not talking about people that inherit success. We're talking about the people that work hard to get to where they at. They always tell you their stories, and it's always a crazy backstory to get in there. It's always a crazy story. But a lot of people believe that they're gonna get there just because they believe that they belong there. You don't get there because you belong there. You believe you belong there. You work hard to put yourself there. You could say everything that you want from life and never get the results, and say absolutely nothing and get everything you want, because your work ethic speaks more than your mouth. I look at some people that think they're gonna become something great. And I realize that me personally, the only way that someone could become great if they're willing to outwork people and get there. Don't hate on people, get inspired. Inspiration is how you keep yourself rejuvenated, motivated, driven. The goals of success is being mindful of your people, your places, and your things. Successful people don't go to certain places. Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that? Successful people don't do certain things, right? You agree with that? Successful people don't hang around certain people. Do you agree with that? So I think you need to start assessing your threes. They don't even entertain certain conversations. And I don't think that they think it's beneath them. They think that they're, see, when you say things, it's not that it's beneath you, it's that you're past that. And when you're past something, you don't want to engage in that anymore. There's somebody on my live right now that's probably sitting at home stressed and aggravated and miserable. But I'm going to tell you something. Before you break through, you have to break. Because you're breaking the old version of you. So before you can break through, you have to break. A lot of people don't understand why you're breaking the old version of you. You will break. Because you'll never become the newer version of self until you break the old version of you. The old version of you is why you're content to where you are. The old version of you today is the reason why you're stuck. But you can't see that it's time for you to change. You can't see that it's time to change. We look at what other people are doing, but we can't see that about ourselves. I told a guy the other day, he got mad at me. We had a whole conversation about substance abuse. And he likes to smoke a lot. He's telling me he want to be this rich guy. I said, you know what it is? And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like black culture overly watch hip-hop rappers and they compare themselves to hip-hop rappers and singers and athletes and entertainers, but yet and still they have regular 9-to-5 jobs and they can't see that they're not in a position to behave like some of these celebrities. But yet and still believe that they're going to be in a position of a celebrity making a fraction of what they're making. Some of them celebrities that you're looking at, they made your salary last night going on one show. They made your yearly salary doing one show. And then you watch what they do and you try to behave like them with a fraction of their salary. That don't make no goddamn sense. One guy asked me, what changed in you? I said, I had a plantation mindset where I believed that my job was gonna pay me and make me rich. But one day I woke up and realized I was misinformed. I realized that a job is not there to make you rich. It's your job to make you rich. If you don't educate yourself, you will be taken advantage of. You can't blame the record labels for meeting these artists and they signing these bad deals and them taking advantage. You can't blame them. At the end of the day, the artists choose to sign it. So realistically, I fault the artists for not educating themselves. The other day I told a guy, I said, you could rap, but the fact of the matter is you'll never make it as a rapper. He said, why? I said, because you don't know business. You don't understand business. So even if you made it as a rapper, you'll be, you know what they're gonna pay you in? He said, what? I said, clout. They're gonna pay you in clout, but they're never gonna pay you in money. He said, what you say? I said, you're a rapper that can rap. You know nothing about business, so they're gonna pay you in clout and never pay you in money. A lot of people are being paid with clout and not money. They're getting monetized on it and don't even realize it. You have an NIL deal in real life, and you don't even say that your name, right? Say the one stuff, your name, your image, and your likeness is being used every day, and it's called black culture. Black people have a permanent NIL deal. Our names, our image, and our likeness is being used and monetized on every single day. And then we think we're not creative. We think we're not special. We think we're not gifted. We are the NIL deal. We could set the trends. We set the trends. Black culture has a permanent NIL deal. Our names, our image, and our likeness is being used every single day. Look online. You see all the dances. Other cultures are doing what? Our dances. Everyone wants to be black until it's time to be black. Everyone wants to be black until it's time to be black. I ain't no black. That's what they said. You gotta be kidding me. If we're all God's creatures, his children, it doesn't matter, because we need to start helping each other up and become better people. Because I don't care what color you are, a bad person is a bad person. And a bad person has no color. A bad person has a behavior. We need to learn that this plantation mindset is what's hindering us as a culture. We're still looking for the savior. We have a savior's complex. We have a savior's complex, right? We're looking to save people who don't even want to save themselves. I genuinely believe this, and I'm gonna say this on record. Somebody gonna take this wrong, I don't care. I don't care. I believe that black people, and this is me being honest, I think we're very caring and considerate people. Because I'm gonna tell you why I know that black people are very caring and considerate people. You know why? Black people don't want white people to endure what we've been through. You know what black people want? Equal rights and just the same level of opportunity. I have never physically met, unless he's an extreme black person that's diabolical, I have never met a black person that said, yo, let's put white people in shackles and shave and make slaves and make them walk around talking about we shall overcome. I have never met no black person talking like that. I have never met somebody talking like that. I met black people that don't favor white people, but I never met a black person who really wants to go and rebel against, fight against white people. If the only thing they say is, yo, let's get the same opportunities because we help build this land. And that's all they talk. So that means to me that we're not a diabolical culture. Because reality, a lot of people have a right or a feeling. You ever see that movie? And I want y'all to remember that. Remember the first Black Panther movie? You had the kid Michael B. Jordan, and you had the guy that played Black Panther. Chat, right? You notice the storyline had me conflicted? Because if you look at Michael B. Jordan's character had a reason to feel away. If you go watch that movie over, that is one of the dopest storylines I've ever seen in my life, because Michael B. Jordan was mad because he felt like the black culture was exploited by other cultures. And he had a reason to feel the way he felt. So I understood his premise. That was the first villain I've ever felt like I could relate to and understand more than any other villain. I don't understand the Joker. I don't understand none of these other villains. But I definitely understood the villain in that first Black Panther movie with the Michael B. Jordan character. He was saying that, yo, we've been exploited for years. You see the scene when he's looking at the African artifact? When he told the lady, he said where it was from, and he told her, you stole it from my people and my ancestors, and he told her exactly where it was from and pinpoint the location. She said, you can't, he said, can't steal it, I'm stealing back what's mine. This is my people's stuff. And I understood what he was saying. That's why I said we have a permanent NIL deal. Our names, our images and likeness have been exploited for years. For years. They're showing the true Bibles, and they're showing the real people that's in the Bible. They look like me. And I don't want to go into all of these details, but I'm just saying I call it what it is. We got to wake up and see that we are a strong culture. We are a strong race. Because I'm going to be honest with you, if most people been through half of what we've been through, they wouldn't be half of who we are today. Of course there are ignorant people in our culture when you're forcing it down their throats. Of course there are people that don't know who they are when you've taken all of their history from them. Of course people don't love each other because they come from high levels of trauma. Of course people are fighting with each other because they don't even know who they are. Of course people use the theory of the crabs in the barrel because crabs are not made to be in a barrel. So when they call us crabs in a barrel, you got to realize that crabs were never made to be in a barrel. Why are crabs even in the barrel? Crabs are made to roam. So when we look at ourselves, we got to look at why are we fighting the wrong fight. The plantation mindset has to change. We'll never grow our culture until we start growing each other. Till next time, don't let that go over your head.